What a way to kick off the morning here at Snapper Rocks. Round 4 action underway. Heat 3 was a beauty. This one should be good too. A great heat on paper. Kanoa Igarashi, the young CT rookie, the youngest surfer on the championship tour, will be out there in the red. John Florence, the 2016 version, ready to go for a world title, will be in the blue. And the giant killer, Stuart Kennedy, in this event by way of an injury replacement. He has taken out Kelly Slater, defeated Gabriel Medina with an amazing performance in round 3 yesterday.
I actually did the maneuver on my 8, if that's the one you're talking about. I was like, did it, and I was like spun around, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm still on my board, epic. And then I just finished it or whatever. It was kind of a soft wave afterwards, but I knew I'd get a big score if I just kept riding it. And then, yeah, that's about it. I just kind of had nothing to lose.
I mean, you've been working with, this is a Slater design surfboard, so there's a construction that's there. You've been working with Kelly a little bit, obviously with Stu Kennedy, who's probably been putting in the most time on this equipment. I mean, what kind of feedback are you getting from guys like that?
Well, yeah, I started working with this board with Kelly last year, and we're getting a lot of good feedback. And obviously Stu, being a fan, you know, he's instantly on him, jumping on him. So he actually was like big on the feedback too. So, you know, he worked a lot with it. And
we'll point it away if he's actually riding one.
Oh, there he is, hacking it. Wow.
I mean, you gotta love the dreamy conditions, you know, and it obviously looks like this board is glued to his feet, so he's surfing really well on it.
Yeah, I'm really stoked for him. He's surfing amazing and really showing what the board can do too. So it's going to be an exciting year, and I hope he keeps smashing them.
All right, well, thank you, Daniel, taking the time, and we'll be digging into this a little bit more, get some more information from you, so thanks.
Thank you, Pete. Daniel Thompson shaping some drink crafts for Stuart Kennedy, and I'm sure his phone's going to be ringing hot. Might have to get Pete to grab his number for me. And you know what? It's cool to see such a unique piece of equipment. Stuart Kennedy looking really sharp on these boards at the moment, but Stu Kennedy and John Florence both falling at the end of their last rides. But break this one down for us, Ross.
Just different conditions today with that offshore wind. You have to draw different lines, and that right there was very smart surfing from Stewie. Big old carve underneath the lip, so just making sure he doesn't get hung up. And watch his inside rail as he falls in this maneuver right here. It's going to catch just a little bit. It was actually on the outside rail. Just caught a little bit of air. So that dry we're talking about, all that squirt that these guys like from the surfboards, if you're not ready for it, sometimes it can catch you off guard. A couple of clean wraps here for John, but he also came unstuck in this wave. Another wrap. We can see this is a big set. Sometimes the biggest sets out here aren't necessarily user-friendly. They want to get away from you. They bend out to sea.
But some numbers falling now. Stuart Kennedy a 6.33 for his effort. So he takes the lead. John Florence in second. He had a 4.83. And Kanoa Igarashi at this stage is back in third spot. Hasn't really had a decent wave at all just yet. And Stuart Kennedy just picked off an insider. Let go of some pretty nice turns, but again fell on his last maneuver. But he put a 5.1 on the board. So that now leaves John Florence chasing a 6.6 and Kanoa a 2-wave total of 11.44. Here's the replay of that ride.
All right, Stewie Kennedy, I just think, you know, he's going to be able to handle this wave much more with a lot more authority, being that it's smaller than that big set wave. And there's a fin release. And as you said, Ronnie, that was a weird section, kind of tricky. It bent out to sea just a little bit and couldn't reconnect. So another little mistake there. This heat is still wide open.
The quality of that wave too. It was an insider. It was a beautiful wave, but a lot smaller than some of the waves that we've seen excellent scores logged on this morning. So if you're going to get a number, extract a good number out of a wave like that, you really need to surf it to perfection. And a little fall at the end can really cost you.
Okay, so you can see how that lip is kind of just bent out to sea just a little bit. So right there, he didn't get all that push that he wanted back at him. So now the board is still drifting away from his back foot. So he's waiting for that board to really kind of come back underneath him so that he can regain balance. But instead, the board just gets away from him.
Well, Stuart on the inside, keeping busy as his rivals look for some more quality waves out the back. Let's see what he can do with this one. Tidy start, brought his board right around, getting a lot of speed up, but that one is going to get away from him. And here goes the young Californian driving off the bottom. Nice little tail drift, has a lot of control, riding his board backwards, recovers from that turn, but this wave, he needs it to speed up down the line. And it does just that. He takes the air again, but can't stick that maneuver. Just over 6 minutes to go.
Again, that offshore wind, really difficult for these surfers to get creative. You know, they're going to have to start leaning on that rail, keep that board in the water, because as soon as you kick the fins free or go into the air, that offshore wind's not going to do you any favors. For the first time in this contest, Kanoa showing his age a little bit. You know, he looked like a Grom on that wave.
Strider Wasilewski, you could see him there cheering on these competitors, enjoying the show from the lineup. Strider, what's the big difference you're noticing between these rivals at the moment?
Really just the heat is slow. I mean, we've got, you know, I picked the blockbuster movie on the lounge chair, got the popcorn out, and this thing hasn't even gotten started yet. The movie's almost over, so I'm hoping to really, you know, this thing picks up as this thing, you know, winds in. We're ready for these big moves. We're ready for the, you know, connection on the inside, and, you know, we're just waiting for it all to happen. Mother Nature just needs to show up, so we're going to go under this one.
Well, let's see if the superhero can save himself at the end of this heat. John Florence in second at the moment. He's chasing a 6.6 on this ride to get ahead of Stuart Kennedy. Just getting work done at the moment. A hard wave to surf, tricky end section, but does plant a tidy little air reverse on the finish. 6.6. It'll be the highest scoring ride of the heat. What are your thoughts, Ross?
Yeah, I think so. He finished that wave off, and I like his body language right there. He knows he has a little more work to do. I don't think he thinks he has an 8-point ride, but it's going to be a keeper, so he's going to get back out there and get one more.
And Stuart, even though he fell on his last turn, he had a couple of pretty nice carves, so we'll have to wait and see what the judges think. But right now Kennedy is up again, using priority for this wave. Quite a bit of foam on the face, but he has the speed to get down the line. He takes his board to the rail. A nice turn and bashes the lip, but Stuart Kennedy hasn't had too many falls throughout the contest. But at the moment, he's taken a fall on his last 4 waves.
Do you find yourself trying to do the turns with him?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh.
He's not talkative. Sorry, guys. He's too intent on this, so we'll go back to the heat.
Thank you, Pete. And B just completely invested, and he's worried about this man because Stu Kennedy at this stage of the game can push the requirement up for John Florence by bettering a 5.1. I don't think it's going to happen with that ride, though. Just under 2 minutes to go. John's previous wave of 5.53 wasn't enough. And Kanoa, well, he can get himself into the lead here with an 8.76, but he falls on that first turn. Let's see if John gets an opportunity. If Stuart gets the ticket into the quarterfinals, he'll have to correct some mistakes. He's looked pretty vulnerable throughout this heat, taking a lot of falls as Kanoa Igarashi drives down the line. He looks to throw down one of those grab rail reverses under the lip, but he can't stick it. And Stuart is just head down, powering back to the takeoff zone. Well, this is John's opportunity, just on a minute remaining. It's going to take him more than that, but probably finish this wave off. So he is chasing a 5.91, has some speed to burn, throws the air reverse, sticks that maneuver. He looks to the beach. And with 55 seconds to go, Stuart Kennedy has to be thinking he might need a score here, and there is some waves approaching. So let's see what unfolds as Kanoa taps into one on the inside. He's going to have to go really big because he's only counting on a 2.67 at the moment. And he tries an air reverse on the end section. The wave shuts down. He doesn't complete the turn. 35 seconds and Stuart paddling for this one. Doesn't get into it.
I'll tell you what, John, that wave was so difficult to grab a score, and he may have done it. He just got that big air reverse. Maybe he squeezed out a 5.9. It's going to be close. That wave was maybe a 3, and so he definitely made the most of it.
15 seconds to go, and Stuart Kennedy has to get himself another wave. That is going to be close. We're waiting on the numbers to come through. Kennedy has a look at this one. Gets to his feet before the hooter. Let's see what kind of work he can get done. Has the speed to burn, throws an air reverse of his own. Exciting turn, but not a lot of height in that wave. So I think John's definitely got him covered on the exchange, but John is chasing a 5.91, Ross, as Kanoa makes his way in.
Positives for John, it was a big set wave. had a major maneuver, but just the one. The wave closed out really fast. So it was a short ride, relatively, for what's on offer today. It makes me feel like if he does get the score, it's going to be barely there.
That is, I love that. That is huge.
It's a really technical area. You know, again, with this offshore wind, I feel like everyone's still trying to digest what's been going down the last few days. You know, with the wind, it's been nice for those kind of moves, but now, you know, with the offshore breeze, it kind of looks more like something you'd see at J Bay. It's all about carving. Stuff you'd see from Joel and Mick, that classic type of surfing. Judges, Ronnie right here, trying to see where the scale's set.
Well, the numbers are starting to drop. Looking pretty solid here for John. Looking very good, in fact. A 6.37, the highest single score of the heat, and enough to get the Hawaiian into the lead and into the quarterfinals for the first time. But we still have a number coming through, but Stuart Kennedy needs a 5.58, and just making the comparison with John's air reverse, there's a pretty good chance he's not going to get it.
It was a nice full rotation, a lot of speed in that air, but it was a small one, small wave. I can't see them giving it to him.
The numbers are coming through. It isn't going to be enough. It drops at a 3.73. So Stuart Kennedy's going to have to rebound in round 5. John Florence marching on to the quarterfinals for the first time.